So good morning everyone and welcome to the Economic and Cultural Development Committee 2025-7 of 19th of August. We start the meeting at 10:46. Councillors in attendance, we've got Councillor Madsen, Deputy Mayor Johnnick, Mayor Harding, Councillor Doyle, Councillor Antonelli, Councillor Martin and Councillor Madden. No apologies. I'll go over to Councillor Doyle for the acknowledgement of country.
Thank you, Chair. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle. We'll move on. Do any councillors have any declarations on any of the matters? Councillor Martin.
I, David Martin, informed the meeting I have a declarable conflict of interest due to, I used to be on the Brassel Carroll Committee. It's an item coming up on the agenda. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I believe a reasonable person would perceive me to be impartial because I've never received any remuneration. As I said, I'm not on the committee. Therefore, I wish to remain in the meeting and ask eligible councillors to decide if I may participate.
Thanks for that, Councillor Martin. You've already declared that you didn't receive any. Did you? Sorry, I just missed it. Did you say you were previously? You're no longer?
Yeah, I was previously on the committee. Yeah. I think I was there for a few years. I think I finished in 22, 3 years ago.
Okay, and you want to stay in the meeting, you said?
Put it to the vote, yeah.
Yeah. Any other councillors got any questions of Councillor Martin?
Can I ask? Sorry. I note that yourself and your wife were very involved and great volunteers for there. Is your wife also still involved, or she's not involved anymore as well?
No, she resigned the year before I did.
Okay, thank you.
She didn't get paid either.
I realise you were both volunteers.
Thank you. I'd be happy for Deputy Mayor.
I was just going to move that he remains and be able to vote.
Great. Yes, so we'll move that, Councillor Martin. Well, I move that, Councillor Martin. Thank you for declaring that, and I move that you stay in the meeting for that item. Do I have a seconder? Favour? And that's carried and unanimous. We note that Councillor Martin didn't vote.
I just advise I abstained because I have to make a similar declaration.
Okay, and what's your declaration, Councillor Antonelli?
Well, just firstly, just ensuring that you note that it wasn't unanimous, that I actually abstained from that vote. Yes.
Councillor Antonelli abstained, so it wasn't unanimous, so his vote will be recorded as a no, as abstaining. Yep.
Yes, I, Councillor Andrew Antonelli, informed the meeting I have a declarable conflict of interest in that I'm also a previous volunteer for the Brassel Carrolls, and although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I believe a reasonable person would perceive me to be impartial simply because I was a volunteer. Therefore, I wish to remain in the meeting and ask the eligible councillors to decide if I may participate. Just note for the record that I volunteered for a couple of years. I believe it would have been somewhere around 2000 to 2002, perhaps.
Wow.
Can I just clarify, the last time you were there was 2002?
Oh, I'm not sure the exact year. Sorry, 2020, roughly 2022, during that time. My apologies.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, have you got any questions?
Yeah, no, that was just to find out. And just to note that just because you're a volunteer, you can still have a conflict of interest, but yeah.
Yeah. So did you receive, Councillor Antonelli, sorry, did you receive any, you were just a volunteer?
Just volunteer.
And any, yep.
Help set up, pack up.
Bump in, bump out, great. Okay, I'm happy for you to stay. Is that, what were you looking for, Councillor Antonelli? You want to stay?
As stipulated, I just seek the eligible councillors to decide if I may participate.
I'll ask another question. Do you have any financial or personal benefits with this matter coming to council?
No, volunteer.
As a volunteer, you can still have a personal benefit.
No, I don't have any personal
Councillor Tyler.
benefit. No.
Right. I'm happy for Councillor Antonelli. Thank you for disclosing, and I'm happy that Councillor Antonelli stays in the meeting and participates. Yep, okay, and we'll have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Johnnick. All those in favour? Councillor Madsen? Okay, that's everyone except Councillor Antonelli, who abstained from voting. Thank you. Great, thank you. So we'll move to business outstanding. We have one matter on notice. Firstly, we've got Councillor David Martin regarding the pavers, and Councillor Antonelli about the pavers as well. There was an email circulated. I'll give it to you, Councillor Martin. Were you happy with the response?
Yeah, I was happy with the response. Just wanted to follow up because I noticed that some of the work that's been done, there's loose pavers again already.
So from what was answered, now there's more, are you saying?
Some of the areas that have been repaired, you can still hear clunk clunk when cars go down the...
And may I ask, have you let the organisation know about it?
I haven't let the organisation know, no. I just assumed that there'd be somebody doing quality control to check that it's all done properly. I didn't raise it in the first place that there were loose pavers. It was like, yeah, so...
So, Councillor Martin, can you just, I'll go to the CEO. What was the response? So maybe those new pavers are covered with the response. I'm just trying to work out, like we're looking at fixing, I'll just get clarification from CEO.
Yeah, so thank you, Chair. The operational response that I did email around, and understand that'll be included with the minutes going forward, was that the paver rectification process will be ongoing as part of our maintenance procedure. We will need to continue with future maintenance to do road closures as required, as the adhesives to secure the pavers require 24 hours to set, free of water and vehicular movement. So just needing to schedule that in accordingly and provide appropriate notice to the businesses that are in the mall. As we're aware, there is vehicular movement and traffic in the mall that we need to just work around. So it's an ongoing maintenance regime. I'll ensure and double check that the team is aware of the loose pavers. I hope that they would be, but I'll double check and confirm. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, are you happy with that? The wording was that there's ongoing. Yeah, so you're happy that all, yep.
That explains that, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Antonelli, you're part of it. That was more of the
Yeah, I'm not sure
the
whether there was
blocks.
advice in relation to that part of it, though, was there?
Sorry, through the chair, in relation to that email, it does stipulate the dates for closure, for repair, upcoming.
And the email from the CEO also addresses the blocks, the issues that you've raised. I don't know if you've read the email or not.
Yeah, I can't recall whether I may have gleaned over it. So, but if there's
It
been a
definitely
response,
addressed.
I'll look for it. I'm not seeking to pursue it any further at this stage. No.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Antonelli. We'll progress to the confirmation of minutes. So I'll move that the minutes of the Economic and Cultural Development Committee. Does everyone? I'll just take it that everyone's read those minutes. Anyone got any questions? No. I'll move those minutes for the committee meeting of the 22nd of July. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Martin. Any discussion? No. Put that to the vote. All those in favour of adopting those minutes? That's unanimous and carried. Thank you. We now move to the officers' report. So this is about the major community event sponsorship for the Brussels Christmas in the Park. Do we have any questions of any of the relevant officers?
Yes. Oh, we'd just like. Yes, I'd just like to ask questions, so you can bring the officer
The
on. Thank you.
relevant, yep, Ms Gregory is coming up.
Good morning, Carly Gregory, Manager of Marketing and Promotions.
Thank you, Ms Gregory. Councillor Martin, what's your question?
Thanks, Ms Gregory. Just wonder if they're asking for $15,000, why you recommended $12,000.
Yeah, so obviously, like all event sponsorship, this is panel assessed. I'm not on the panel. The panel has cited things like attendance. They haven't been meeting the minimum attendance for event sponsorship of this level in the last few years. I do think that might change this year, given some changes in other local Christmas events that we're becoming aware of, that they might see, I think, a growth in numbers on that side of town this year. So in good faith, hopefully that will, increase in further years. Also, some of the money that they did request was for fireworks, not actually the Carols event. And I suppose the panel, those kind of things like fireworks are great things for local businesses to support. We're supporting or sponsoring a Carols event, so things like tech, AV, that kind of infrastructure.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else got questions? Yep, Councillor Doyle.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms Gregory. I know we're talking about the sponsorship as such, but I'm just wondering, and note the sensitivities around this, but the location of the carols and what previously occurred in relation to the sporting field as a result of the carols. I think council had invested a lot of money in rehabilitating the fields, and then there was some subsequent significant damage. So I understood we may have been talking with the carols about potentially relocating.
Yeah, so I've definitely discussed this with the Div 4 councillors. We've had a pre-submission meeting with this group like we do every year. They were really responsive and receptive. Look, we think these events are amazing. They bring the community together to gather and celebrate. They are volunteer-based and don't have the capacity, we know, to pay the remediation. So we did start discussions with the group about alternate locations that still gave them visibility, nice grass for people to sit on and enjoy the carols, those kind of things. So with discussions with the Div 4 councillors, the group had already started discussions with alternate locations that they may be able to have in the Brassel community, like State Highs field, those kind of things, some AstroTurf field at the back. We've also offered up that we think the back of Sutton Park, so not the playing field, but behind, where there's still accessibility to toilets, power, that kind of thing. So they're working with their contacts. They're going to come back to us in the next fortnight, and if that's one of the things that they decide, to have it at Sutton Park but the back end, we will absolutely meet them on a site visit and go for a walk and talk about that. We're trying to enable it and have it in a location where we can still put really clear signage on the fence opposite the shopping centre that reminds people that it's very close by, and people can pretty much park in the same area or enjoy the Carols event.
So I guess my next question was, should they decide to potentially relocate, I'm just wondering if the application to us is a little premature, if they haven't definitely made up their mind about the location, and the cost could potentially increase to activate a different site. That would be my only concern for them.
If it was the back end, I don't think it would increase the cost, because it's pretty much the same infrastructure.
Right.
We've offered that up. It's tentatively booked for them as a backup.
Yes.
They had started discussions, my understanding, what they told us, with Ipswich State High.
Yeah.
So we've kept this as a backup.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
So
all.
that was all in the application.
Yeah.
I suppose for us, that they need to understand what funding they've got for the event to go ahead. And it was getting quite late in the year. And so, we're very keen to sort of get this underway.
Yeah.
And we will come back with notice about what the final location is for that event.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councillor Antonelli?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. What was the rectification cost in the end?
look, I haven't seen the total invoice. Around $20,000, I think, is what it costs to rectify.
My view is that there is a simple solution to their access. We just build a new gate, and it would cost less than $20,000 to build a new gate. The problem is they have to come in at the middle of the field with a heavy vehicle and then drive around to where they put the stage. Whereas if we located the gate along that edge where they actually put the stage could be easily reversed in without causing much drama to the field at all. Certainly the vehicle would not need to turn, which creates most of the problem with respect to the damage to the field. So I'd rather we start looking at some practical solutions to the location, because it could be then utilised for other essential access as well. That would have also less detrimental effect to the field. So that's one of the things. So
We can investigate that.
and I think that would probably be, and I did raise that when this all occurred with staff, that this should be looked at.
We certainly had some other issues the year before, even just with food trucks, coming in much smaller vehicles. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a problem, obviously, when it gets wet. We
Yeah.
all know that.
And always at this time of year.
But
yeah.
the heavier the vehicles, the more damage.
Absolutely.
In the most part, the field would probably hold up pretty well to most vehicles, private vehicles with vans and the like. So it's mainly just the heavy vehicles that do the major damage.
I think you're right. I think weather dependent. Sometimes we've had lots of rain prior, and any vehicles obviously are going to have some damage, but we can investigate.
Yeah, I would just add to that. Sorry, Councillor Antonelli, I disagree with you on having any vehicles, especially on I'll just use the word soccer field. Unlike many other sports, an actual pitch needs to be quite any car that goes on a pitch, even if it's dry.
I wasn't referring to the pitch.
Yeah, well, when your back's turned and you're going from here to over there, I've seen it many times when you're not around, or council's not around, and we say your vehicle needs to go around the perimeter of the field, and then you've got a 40-metre drive compared to 160 metres around. When no one's around, those vehicles go straight across the field. And so I'm a little bit, I'm always hesitant to put big events on sporting fields, especially soccer fields, where unlike, the rugby league or, it's up here where soccer is on that grass, and any little divots, I've seen so many damages through just a car on a field. So I'd be more supportive of relocating them to the back or elsewhere. Thank you.
Come back with some options, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Councillor Madden, did you have a question? No question. Oh. Chair, I just wanted to inform you of something. Okay, we'll do that in the discussion? Yep, thank you.
Well, we now are in the section where we move the motion.
Yeah, we're going to move it, yeah.
What I want to talk about was the motion, not the discussion. And I'm going to give you two options. I can either move a motion that's different to the recommendation here, and the motion will mean that the $15,000 per year is maintained, or alternatively I'll foreshadow an amendment to this motion from 12,000 to 15,000. So whichever way you want me to do it, I can move a motion now, and that can be the motion that you put, or you can move this motion, and if it's defeated, then I'll move my motion.
Oh, well, let's I think put
Move
the
my
four.
motion?
Yeah, put the four. Put your.
Yeah.
Well, what about if we put if you
Can do.
foreshadow, and then we can go to this
Yeah.
motion, see if this one's.
Yeah, we can move it. We can do it. Yeah, you can do it either way. I can move this motion now, but if we want to go through the laborious process, it would mean defeating the motion as it's presented, and then I foreshadow a new motion.
A new one, yeah.
And then do it. I'm just leaving it in your hands, Chair, whichever way.
Oh,
you want to
yeah, I just, I'm just thinking about if we go straight to your motion, it doesn't give, yeah. All right,
You can always,
yeah.
if my motion is defeated, you can still go back to the original motion.
The strange thing here is that it's actually supporting the same thing. It's just a different amount.
Just different amount.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you the risk is you don't support it at the nominated amount now, and then the new amount is your foreshadowed. You might not support that either. So the reality is,
Okay, we'll put councillor
let's
Madden's.
move it
Have you
and
got
seek an
yours?
amendment.
Yes. I'll read my motion, with your indulgence, Chair. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm reading a lot of words, but I'm really just changing two figures, the $15,000 per event and $45,000 across the multi-year agreement. So I'll read it out. That the council provide major community event sponsorship of $15,000 per event, excluding GST, to Brassel Christmas in the Park Incorporated for 2025, 26 and 27. Brassel Christmas in the Park events, in brackets, total support of $45,000, excluding GST, across the multi-year agreement, full stop. So that's the motion I'm moving. I now need a seconder.
Thank you, councillor Martin. We'll put that one to the vote. Those in...
No.
Oh,
Well, no, usually discuss it after, don't we? Discuss it after the motion. Yeah, so we normally... Well, I suppose if...
If it's been moved and seconded, we move into discussion.
Okay, that's fine.
okay, so we'll...
Yes.
Mayor, have you got something to discuss? We've moved that. Yep.
Just that I'd be supporting this. I know things are very tough, and I know that I guess we've come into some information this week that there might be some, there's some changes with different organisations who are proceeding or not. New churches are proceeding and others aren't. So I'd be inclined to support the motion that's just been put up.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, councillor Madsen.
Yeah, I was going to request some advice after the meeting just on the status of some of the other community carols across the city. And while I'm supportive of the motion, I think increasing it here would necessarily think that we need to consider what occurs there. Just recognising that the officers have come up with this amount going through the procedure, and the 12,000 is justified through that process. Nothing to say that the council can't recommend further funds to that if that's the will of the council, but I just say those comments this morning in that, how are we going to treat this with other community Christmas carols events, because I know that they're all quite challenging to run on a shoestring budget. So how we manage that, I think there should be fairness and everyone should sort of have the same opportunities. That's all. Hopefully someone answers that before we vote.
So,
Councillor Doyle.
through you, Chair, and maybe the CEO can clarify, potentially can we get the council officer back up to address the increased amount and the impact it might have across the wider Carols program, and if we do have solid feedback that there will be some events that won't go ahead, making a decision assuming others won't, and therefore we could afford to give more for this event, but is that set in stone?
Yeah, all right, we might get
Ms. Gregory?
if we can get the council officer up again, just to clarify a couple. Is that Thank you, Ms. Gregory. I think we've got a couple of questions to answer before we go
Probably
forward.
for some helpful context. Originally, there were 4 major carols that council was supporting with this level of support. There's many carols we support. A lot of them receive community funding because they're smaller events. Traditionally, they were Tivoli, so at the drive-in. They had their Tivoli Christmas, Brassel carols in the park, Redbank Plains carols and Springfield carols. Obviously, our city is growing and things change and move, and I think a few years ago I brought back to the councillors the fact that 4 was turning into sort of 6 major Christmas events. I would say there has been some change this year. We've been advised at this stage Tivoli won't be going ahead, so we're cognisant of that. There are all the time, although other events that new ones that come online. We know Springfield's carols will go ahead. There'll be an announcement soon on that. It's, pretty much outgrown its current space and continuing to grow in that region of growth. Redbank, we know, will go ahead, and many, many others in the city. But of the 4, 3 are going ahead this year of the major that we're aware of.
Yeah,
So has that
You go.
answered your question, councillor Madsen? Okay. Yeah, we can go.
And they are smaller events. Do we know if smaller ones like Raceview and Ripley Valley are?
We're starting to see all of those come through.
Yeah, we may
So-
not have the application yet.
Yeah, that's right. So
I
we
know that crowd-wise they are a bit smaller, but
correct, but yeah, and some of those that started off small are starting to get really large. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Johnnick?
Just in relation to, I guess, the equity of the Christmas across Ipswich. So Springfield Carols didn't proceed last year. There was a number of factors in relation to
Yes.
that, and is going ahead this year, obviously. But I just want to ensure that we're not rocking a boat per se for any of the other community groups that are,
Look, council
on
can
these-
make absolutely the decision on the floor, and we're respectful of that. The panel assessed this, with absolute support. Brassel Carols is an amazing event, Brassel Christmas in the Park. However, we have to assess it via the criteria, and if they're not meeting the numbers and others are, we're just seeing that and assessing it as we see against that criteria.
Okay, thanks, Carly.
Any further questions? Councillor Antonelli?
Oh, sorry.
And probably just to the earlier question, there is money in the budget to cover the increase, so I would advise if we were going over budget, if that answers your earlier question.
Okay. Councillor Antonelli, you got a...
Yeah, the only question I was going to ask, so with respect to Springfield, if it was to lodge its application again,
It's about
and
to,
to be
yes.
of similar size as it has been in the past, what would it normally receive?
So the 4 carols were on equal standing. They were on multi-year agreements for equity.
Of 15?
The last agreement was 15, 12 and a half, 10. So it was a declining scale because we had others coming along that we weren't, we were unsure about the growth, and it's a competitive process. I do think given the size differentiation of these events now, we're just assessing them in front of us rather than as that group of 4 major carols. That's what we're doing. We're just...
I think that equity has many appearances too with respect to this as well. So, I mean, we're talking about 2 different areas of the city, 2 different sides
Correct.
of the city. You won't get too many people from the east coming to the Brassel one. You won't get
No,
too many
that's
people
exactly
from
right.
Brassel going to the Springfield one, for instance. So, so I think there is equity, and then there's equity, if you understand where I'm coming from. So,
Yeah, and if we know that some of the other larger events aren't happening, I'm sure Brassel will see an increase this year. To the, it's quite close in
I
proximity.
no doubt that without Tivoli, it likely
Yeah.
will grow.
Yeah.
Thank you. No further questions? Thank you. Yeah, you can. Yeah, we can go into discussion on your motion.
I just wanted to point out, and it's in the report, that originally Brassel Christmas in the Park did get $15,000 a year. And then for some reason, I want to just say I find it a mystery why it's on a decreasing scale, because costs don't decrease with time. So it was originally $15,000. They've asked for $15,000 now, and that's $15,000 in 1922. This will be $15,000 in 2025. Hasn't gone down. That's what they've asked. That's what they've asked for, and that's what they needed in 2022. And I think that's good evidence that that's what they need in 2025. I think it's very important, and it's been mentioned lightly today, but it's very important to note that the Tivoli carols will not be proceeding. And it looks like the New Year's celebrations won't be proceeding either. But obviously we've got to realise the property's for sale, There's lots of reasons why that may be the case. So if we talk about the north side of Ipswich, as opposed to the east and the west and the south, we had 2 major carols in the north side, Tivoli and Brassel, and now we've only got Brassel, So obviously we're going to have a lot of people coming to Brassel that would normally go to Tivoli. People are very, I'll try and be kind, very suburb orientated in the northern suburbs. And there's a certain group that would go to the Tivoli Drive-In, the Carolee, Barallan Point, Shuar, Mount Crosby, Corona Downs will go to that normally. Well, they won't have that opportunity this year, and the closest they'll have for a major carols is Brassel, which is only another 10 minutes away. But as I said, people are very suburb orientated in the northern suburbs, so they asked for 15,000. That's what they asked for in 2022, and that's what we gave them in 2022. But we also decided to give them a descending scale. I think this sends the wrong message to our groups, benevolent groups that arrange events like this, that they ask for, having carefully worked out their budgets, they ask for a certain amount of money, and we come back and say, no, we're going to give you less. I think that sends a bad message, and I think they originally asked for 15,000. That's what it cost them in 2022. It will remain that for the next 3 years. I'm fine with that. But I think we've got to be mindful that they present us with a budget, and it's very hard for council officers then to look at that budget and say, you got it wrong. But I don't want to say that in a critical sense, but clearly we won't be spending the money on the Tivoli carols this year, which frees up a lot of money. I presume it's a similar amount to what this one costs, say at the very least $12,000. So we've got that money to spend. Councillor Madsen, you asked about money for other events. So I think we have the money. I think the council officer just said that we have the money now to pay the 15,000, unless I misheard her. That's the reason I'm putting this motion forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Madden. Anyone else want to add to the discussion? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, as seconder, I'd like to concur with Councillor Madden. To think about that. Yeah, I was also quite aware of the damage done to the field last year and was quite horrified, and was certainly recommending that it not be held at the same field again, and certainly support it being above Sutton Park or at Ipswich State High. Secondly, as Councillor Madden alluded to, costs have only gone up of late. They're certainly not reducing. And there's a huge expectation, having been on the committee, to try to raise funds is a pretty hard ask. And I do know there are a couple of carol events. Ripley Valley, for example, didn't happen last year because of lack of funding. So I think it's really sad that community events aren't held because they don't have enough funding. It's pretty hard. You're a volunteer committee trying to raise funds to have something that supports the community. So I just support the motion, 15,000 as they asked for. And again, certainly support it not being held at Sutton Park on the playing fields again, unless there's a month of drought before the event.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Anyone else? Mayor Harding?
If I can, I guess I've been very upfront that I support the 15,000, but I just want to make a few statements to clarify things. The council officers follow a set process for all events, and it does take into consideration numbers. And I just want to commend the council organisation, the City Events Team, work very closely with all these groups all year round. So there's very good communication there, and whilst council officers provide advice, whether it gets taken or not is up to that community group. So, the council, I don't think we should be saying that council officers got it wrong. They're following a set process, and which obviously you can go into, but they also acknowledge the fact that it is up to the councillors of the day to make that decision, and there's no rancour from council officers on that as well. And I just want to point out the fact that obviously they are community carol events, and I think councils are usually the largest sponsor and contributor, supporter of these events. They are meant to be community carol events, not bring in professional singers and things like that. To try to keep those as community carol events. So again, I'll be supporting this. I attend this every year, and yes, the audience has gotten smaller and smaller, I have noticed over the last few years. But yeah, look, there's an opportunity now for this particular event to take advantage of the fact that another event on the north side of Ipswich is not happening, and it's, can I just say, it's a beautiful event. I love the Brassel Christmas in the Park. It's been going for 28 years. It is a really beautiful, it's local choirs, local company that does the productions. It really is a beautiful event, and great location. You've got the shops just across the road. So it is a really lovely event, and very happy to support the $15,000. And thank you to the council officers who often have to make some tough calls, but we do rely on them also to do that value for money and follow the process when it comes to event sponsorship. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chair, I think I can do a reply as the mover. Oh, you still?
Just reiterating what the Mayor said with respect to the fact that, yes, we do have staff that read through the criteria and make sure that they present that here to us. We are obviously armed with probably a little bit more information, being closer to the ground and what the needs are for these types of events. And I speak specifically to this event. As the Mayor said, it has some 28 years of involvement in the community. The only time they didn't conduct an outdoor event was during COVID, and they actually continued to do the event, albeit live stream it during COVID. So they kept it going even during COVID. But obviously since COVID, they've had to rebuild, and full credit to them. A committee such as this, it is volunteers. They are community-minded people, and they bring this particular event to us on the smell of an oily rag. Even though we're debating, I guess, the merits of 15,000 here today, I do know that the actual production company that they use to assist them with the event, I believe they donate and they donate their services, and it is well in excess of some $30,000 that they provide for that event. So this, and I believe it's the same production company that assists Redbank Plains, or used to at least. So there are local companies out there that do give to this event significant amounts as their, I guess, their Christmas gift to community. So, and this is a wonderful gift to the community. Numbers-wise, I think it continues to have the potential to grow, because it does pull a large audience, and it would be tragic to see if we did go by the recommendation of $12,000 that might be the straw that breaks the committee's back. And I would certainly be supporting an increase to $15,000 per annum for the next 3 years.
Thank you, Councillor Antonelli. Before I go to you, Councillor Madden, Councillor Martin, did you want to have another add?
Just further to the Mayor's comments, all local people, local schools, local choirs, and I know that we've never paid a performer as well, which is pretty good. I know some other events pay performers to come, so we have had, well, Sophia Salvatore is now an international singer, and she used to perform there quite regularly, so they don't pay performers.
Thank you. Councillor Madden, as the mover, do you want to?
Just a few things, and I am replying to what has been said by other council officers, and I concur with the Mayor. I sat next to the Mayor last Christmas, and it's a wonderful time of year, to be doing this sort of thing. It's very well timed. But there are just two things I wanted to follow up on, and it's something that was mentioned, but I haven't spoken about this yet, and it's the damage to the field. Councillor Martin, and I'm sure you saw it, Mayor, the damage to the field was extraordinary last year. But the good news is this: there's actually two parts to Sutton Park, the football fields and the parkland, and they're almost the same size. And so it's simply a matter of putting the screen on the west side of the utility block, and I can't imagine any reason why that wouldn't be an absolute success. And I appreciate the council officers that have briefed myself and Councillor Martin as to that, and assuring us that there wouldn't be any major changes. I should say we did look at some other options, but like, for example, Ipswich State High, top field, bottom field, but we don't have that utility block. We don't have that idea that we've done it there before, everything's okay. The second thing I wanted to mention, Mayor, Chair, and this is something that's often forgotten with the Brassel Carols, and that is, when it rains, they have an alternative venue. Directly across the road is Beacon Church, and I think twice, Councillor Martin, we've had it over there. Yeah, twice we've had it over there. It's a commodious room, and nearly everyone can squeeze in, and so this is a bit unique. This Carols, in that I think it's the only Carol in Queensland. Even Tivoli Drive, and there's no undercover area there. So this is the one Carols that, when it rains, as it does at that time of the year in Ipswich, it does have an alternative venue, and Beacon church accommodates them very, very well. But and of course, you know, during, as Councillor Antonelli said, during COVID times, they still held the carols, but they live streamed the carols and live streamed them over 2 nights, I think. It wasn't just the once. But you know, I enjoy going. I enjoy the company of my councillors going. All of my residents like it. And I just wanted to say this final thing, and it's to do with council officers being asked questions and presenting ideas. Unfortunately, we have a situation where a job of a councillor is to represent the people that vote us in. And occasionally that involves, and this is, as you'd all aware, that's arisen with me a few times, that I haven't agreed with the thing under the heading called recommendations in the report. Happened more than once. And they shouldn't take that as any sort of criticism. It's simply that's our job. Our job is to stick up for our residents. And occasionally that just means academically we disagree with an assessment of a council officer. And in this case, and I, you know, fully appreciate all the advice I've received from council officers about this particular event. Just the one little thing that I disagree on is I disagree on $3,000. That I think it should be $15,000 and not $12,000. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Madden. I agree with you. We, as councillors, we have to represent our community. I've been looking at this one and seeing that we've also got emerging priorities in the southern side of the area, where it's Ripley and Raceview that are emerging as well. I think the numbers have been declining on the Brassel carols. I'd probably give the benefit of the doubt to the 15, only because of Tivoli not going ahead, and potentially there's been a little bit of funds that could go to the emerging carols. So yeah, I'll be supporting this one. So if there's no other further discussion, I'll get Councillor Madden to move it, and Councillor Martin, did you? Yep, and we'll second it. All those in favour of it being the 15 over the 3 years, that's unanimous and carried. Thank you very much for a robust discussion on that one. So we go to item 3 now, which was a supplementary item distributed last week, which is the Nicholas Street Precinct July 2025 report. Does anyone have questions of the relevant officers on this one? No? Sorry. Okay, have I got anyone that will move that report? Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Martin. Discussion on that one? No? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour of adopting the recommendations in the report? Councillor Antonelli? Yep, that's unanimous and carried. Thank you. Are you right, Councillor Martin? Yeah, you're good. Then we go to item 4, which is also a supplementary agenda item that was just distributed late yesterday afternoon, and that is the report for the Advocacy Advisory Committee that was just held on the 14th of August. Do we have any questions, Mayor?
No, I'm just getting ready to move it.
Oh.
As the chair of that committee, thank you.
All right, Mayor, would you like to move that?
Yes, please.
If no one's got any questions, and Councillor Doyle second that. Discussion of that committee paper?
Thank you, Chair. As the
just if I may
mover,
seek an amendment to the matter before discussion for the inclusion of a recommendation B for consideration of a new membership to the committee.
this hasn't been discussed with me. Just normally the protocol would be that we discussed
sorry,
with committee chairs.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's normal protocol, but my understanding is, Mayor, that you've always encouraged new members on the advocacy committee.
I think for any committee and advisory, we have no issue, but usually there's been a standing protocol that it's discussed with the chairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't see it as a major issue. I thought that you
course you
encouraged it, Mayor.
Sorry, wait.
Happy to make it a matters arising
Yeah, yeah.
for
Yeah, I think so. I think
consideration
that's where
during
we can
Could
handle
I
during
that
the
could I make a suggestion that
during the for the council meeting.
Okay,
could I make
thank
a
you.
suggestion that that is a matter for the Economic and Cultural Development Committee as opposed to the advocacy of this particular report. It's not up to the report. It's not up to this report to have that. That'll be a separate matter.
Yeah, we could.
Happy to make it a notice on motion.
Because this is on the Advocacy Advisory Committee, so I think it should be a separate matter, not of this not of item 4.
So
But you could
Yeah,
do
I'll
it
give
in
notice,
the,
yeah, happy to give notice of motion for
suggest,
consideration
Chair,
at the council meeting.
sorry, Deputy Mayor.
Sorry, we could look at it after all matters items on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go back to discussion. Mayor Harding?
Thank you. As the mover, I'd like to move that the council adopt the recommendations of the Advocacy Advisory Committee of the 14th of August, which was just last week. We had 3 main items. The first one was the amendments to the significant projects policy, procedure, brief and criteria. We do have in there some locally, the option to have a locally significant project, and there was much consultation with councillors on what they'd like to have added as as locally significant projects. It was quite a long list with lists of parks and roads and so on, and I do know there's still a confidential attachment. So look, we'll be, I think, refining that. So thank you to the councillors, and I think that was a good outcome for that particular. That's the recommendation that will be continued. The next item was the addition to the regionally significant projects list to add the Brisbane 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games opportunities as a regionally significant project, and that was agreed at that advisory committee, so it's being put forward today. The third one was the leveraging 2032, the venue audit for elite training readiness. Again, they had confidential attachments, and you know, I'd like to make things very transparent. We did have a list of council venues, but also non-council venues, so that's hence the reason why there's the confidentiality chair. So we went through those there. There was great discussion, and a number of the councils actually provided additional suggestions on other venues that could be looked at. So that was, I think, a really great outcome there. And I guess I won't go through all the actions, but I just thought to go through those recommendations there. And a number of actions in regards to how we advocate when we don't have an election till 2028. So there was some suggestions on how we do regular communications and so on. So I think it was a good committee. You were there as well, but yeah, so that's me moving it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone else with discussion wants to contribute? No, I thought that advocacy meeting was very good. There was a lot of content to it, and I feel that we are moving forward in a positive way with it, where I think people contributed, and yeah, we'll go forward and action those items. So, if no one else has got any more,
I think Councillor Martin.
oh, sorry, Councillor Martin.
Yeah, just like to concur with the Mayor. I thought it was a really good addition. The regional significance of the Olympics, I think it's really good. It appears that the budget for, how would you say, the events have been decided, but I think it's really good that we could potentially get some funding to have regionally significant training facilities. So I think that's really good addition. Looking forward to advocating for that.
And we know you will, Councillor Martin, with gusto. Anyone else? No?
If I could say in
Yeah,
reply.
a reply, thanks.
I guess just to reiterate some stuff I've said in the media, the fact that that what events they haven't been decided yet. So venues have been decided by the state and the federal governments, and the organising committee are now going through a process over the next 12 months of what sports, what events for the Games, the Paralympic Games. And while that's processing, we've discussed in great detail how we did miss out as a city and how that there'll be some other funding coming through. So, so I think we're looking at what events will be coming, what sporting events will be coming though. Thank you.
Yeah, I do know we did touch on that. Venues at Paris, the Paris Olympics did change all the way up to 8 months previous to the game. So, we've got a couple of years, things might change. So it's good to have it on our agenda for advocacy. So, no one else?
That was my right of reply, so we go to a vote.
Yep. Yes, so we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour of adopting that, that's unanimous and carried. Thank you. Next is notices of motion, which we... Sorry, Councillor Madden?
No, it says notices of motion.
Notice of
in the agenda.
motion. Neil? Matters arising. Neil? Questions? Or when do you...
just in hindsight, what I might do is I might discuss with the mayor offline, and
Then
yeah,
bring
and we
it
can.
through.
We've still got time to make it a notice of motion between now and the
committee?
council meeting,
Yeah, great.
or an amendment, either way.
Yeah, all right. And so general business, thank you, Councillor Antonelli. General business, we have none. Thank you. That comes to the end of this committee meeting, and where are we? We'll come back to the environmental and sustainability committee at 11:47. Yep. Thank you.